Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Georgia. And again, I am so sorry guys, I have not been able to sit down and record, so this is one of the videos that still probably has the anime chicks in it. So I do apologize for that. But we're going to showcase what happens when Georgia just does what Georgia do, which is just run over everything in its way. We're also going to showcase, like, a little bit, like, sometimes when you make a decision in the middle of a game, it can have an unintended consequence. This is going to be one of those. So, I spawned mid. I'm going to already put myself going to the left side of the map. I apologize, guys. I am so tired. It has been a rough couple of days for me, so I do apologize. But anyway, it's been hot, sweaty, miserable. It's been so hot I ain't been able to sleep in my bedroom. So I actually last night took my air condition out of the front room and brought it into my bedroom just to try to be able to sleep. Like, it's been miserable. For those of you who don't know, like, it's been one of the hottest summers that I can remember ever here in Ohio. And I'm not the only one. It's been like that all over the place here in the U.S. It's been so hot. But I didn't want to go broadside to this Atlantico, but I also didn't want to just charge straight into his secondaries either. Now, we are using the new build on the Georgia, so at least we've got that going for us. But King George is playing around. He's asking for it, so we go ahead and give it a little bit. And then he hits us with HE, gets fired. We're going to go ahead and wait until he's going to be able to not set us on fire again. Get one more shot over the top of the islands, if we can. It looks like it's going to be okay. Yeah, it's okay. But now that we're not going to be set on fire, we go ahead and put out the fire. No need to burn any longer than we absolutely have to. But putting ourselves over here on the left side of the map, the reason I made this decision, look at the battleship. Battleship's already running away from here. We have an Anchorage and a Baltimore here. And so putting myself in position to help them out, the weak side of the map, is always going to be a good thing, right? There's only one destroyer on the entire map, and we know he's in Bravo, right? He spotted us early in the game, so we knew he's there. But putting ourselves over here to try to counter these guys, despite having two DPM cruisers that are fully capable of absolutely destroying these guys, is just one of those situations where overwhelming firepower on one flank isn't a bad thing, right? Like, getting everybody ready to go, and you can see I'm aiming here. He's just sitting broadside, man. You think they've learned, but they never learn. They never learn. But we take all of the rest of his health, and that's gonna make him an easy kill for the two cruisers. Now, if you're in a cruiser, especially an American cruiser, and you got people sitting broadside to you, learn to use that AP. Like, for the love of God, we got an Anchorage and a Baltimore, neither of which are shooting AP. Look at this Anchorage go full broadside to us. How do you think that's going to work out? I just hit that man with 5 out of 6 shells. Yeah, you deserved it. Like, I don't know what you thought was going to happen, but going full broadside to a Georgia at these ranges and an Anchorage is a bad idea. But Shill, again, this is one of those situations where the Shill is putting himself in such a position where he's not going to enjoy this. Like, there's nothing that he can do. He saw us approaching. He knew that eventually he was going to be in a situation where I'm just going to go right through and murder his face. There's nothing he can do. There's absolutely nothing he can do. He does get his torps away, and I'm not going to lie. I knew he had torps, and I knew they were longer range torpedoes. But I didn't think that he launched him, like, that far out. I thought with the turns that I made that I'd be fine. I was wrong. He actually gets a pretty good torch strike away and gets us with 2 of the 4. So well done to him. And we're going to keep pushing in. We're going to grab this cap and then float around behind the enemy here. Now, the destroyer that we were talking about at the beginning of the match is a Friesland. Like, we know it's Friesland. There's only one destroyer in the entire lobby, so pretty easy to tell what it is. But, yeah, we're going to go ahead and try to grab this cap so that we give our team the best possible chance of winning. Then we're going to flow around right in behind these guys. And that is why flanks are so important, guys. I can't say it enough. Now, I do get spotted momentarily here by somebody, whether it's the Sherberg, whether it's the Friesland, but yeah, it looks like it was the Sherberg. As he gets behind the island, we disappeared. But trying to get around the corner here to get a good shot at this Atlantico, like, all of this is why the flank is so important. If you're just sitting around not trying to create these crossfires, the game ends up taking a completely different path, right? But if you're constantly working to improve your positioning on the map and you win a side, that gives your team such a huge advantage. You don't want to settle, right? That's what a lot of people do. A lot of people settle, and settling in this game is a bad idea. Reason for it is because people can easily angle against you. People can do everything, whether it be using islands against you. And if you're not able to maneuver, then you're not going to be in a position where you can actually do a whole lot of anything. And so constantly trying to move forward. And I'm not saying that you gotta just throw all your health away. That shot was nasty, by the way. Like, if you see a Georgia with that kind of accuracy, you're gonna have a bad day. Just gonna throw that out there. But a lot of people don't understand that the crossfires that I talk about all the time, and trying to create those crossfires, trying to get into positions where you put the enemy at a disadvantage rather than just sitting bowing, flinging HE or AP at each other. Using the ship's advantages to the fullest, getting the reload booster, or not the reload, but the engine booster out there so that you can push forward ahead of the cruisers so that you can tank some of that damage. Like, the only damage that we've taken during this entire match were those 2 torpedo hits. Think about that. Like, we've taken a little bit of damage. We've killed 3 ships. We got 105,000 damage. Now, if you look on the map, this is where I make a mistake. Okay? I should have continued to press this side of the map. But, looking at where everybody's at, we see a very healthy Kansas there. Everybody else is like, not to be found. We know there's a Friesland out here. And so, I was thinking these guys were all going to go the same direction. And you can see, everybody's flowing the same direction. Now, Friesland does take some shots at me here. It's not the end of the world. He's just going to fire inside his smoke screen over here, thinking he's tough. But we're going to go dark pretty soon. And once we do, we'll go ahead and put out the fire. So, now that we're dark, we're going to go ahead and extinguish the fire. We still have 3 more heals. And of course, as soon as I make the commitment to go back across the map to go in through the other side, everybody turns around. Every one of these guys started backing up. This Kansas lost all his health. This Maya pulls out in front of everybody. And the other Kansas starts to reverse as well. So this is the point at which, like, I should have just continued doing what I was doing. I call it getting greedy. A lot of people think, I don't know what you would call it, but I call it getting greedy. Essentially, I was like, oh, all of them are going the same direction, I will go over there. Rather than continuing what I was doing, which was pressing the flank and getting those crossfires. And it's actually going to cost me in this. Not a lot, but it does cost me. By going back across the map, I essentially take myself out of the fight for 2 minutes. Maybe 3. Not able to fire my guns at anything. Which completely negates our build, right? The only purpose of this build is to reload and keep those guns cycling as much as humanly possible. And now that I have press this flank, there's nothing over here, right? You can see Kansas is backing off. Maya lost all of his hit points, is now bow tanking. So as we come around the corner up here, our goal is to be simple. Like, we know what's left. We know there's a Friesland. He's nowhere near us, right? We know there's a Kansas. We know there's a Maya. The Maya's low health because he just sat broadside like a dum-dum. And I'm hoping that by the time we get over here, there'll still be a little bit of damage left on the table. But this just proves, like I was saying before, just press your flank, right? Like, if you won your flank, keep that flank rolling. By falling back, I've taken myself out of the fight. I've lost a lot of damage potential. Now here we get a good shot over the island. Again, very accurate. That's another thing. Like, with the epic mod for the artillery plotting room, like, you're gonna be so much more accurate by the end of the game that it's so worth it. And that is where Georgia becomes really, really terrifying, because of the epic mod. But Maya, I mean, we're never gonna not kill that. Wonder what he could have been doing, guys. Why would he reverse broadside in front of us? Torpedoes? You don't say. Who could have seen that coming? Am I right? But, yeah. We go ahead and take a shot at superstructure of the Kansas. Again, we don't overmatch. We know he's got 32 millimeters of armor. So we get a little bit of damage. 131,000, 4 kills. Didn't quite pick up our Kraken, but it was a solid game and a good showcase of the Georgia doing what Georgia does, which is flank, right? It is a fast battleship. It is meant to push the flank. It is not meant to sit bow into everything like a lot of people tend to do. So let me know what you guys think. And I apologize for these videos the last couple of days not being exactly up to normal par, but when things aren't going well, sometimes you gotta throw up an older video. And the commentary, I apologize for too. I'm exhausted, guys. So just bear with me a little bit longer. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.